Have you ever stood up from your chair and the room just tilted? Maybe you grabbed the armrest. Maybe you stood completely still for a few seconds, waiting for your vision to clear. Maybe it happens so often now that you've started standing up slowly on purpose, bracing yourself, just in case. If you're nodding right now, I want to tell you something that might genuinely surprise you. That dizziness is not your blood pressure. It is not your age. And it is absolutely not something you just have to accept. Here is what it actually is, and stay with me because this is the part that almost nobody gets right. When you stand up, your body needs to push a large volume of blood upward against gravity to your brain. In a young, healthy person, the blood vessels in your legs tighten instantly, within 1 or 2 seconds, to make that happen. But in many people over 50, that reflex has slowed down. It has not disappeared. It has just gotten lazy. And a lazy reflex is a trainable reflex. Today, I'm going to show you 5 specific exercises that retrain that reflex. You do not need any equipment. You do not need to get on the floor, and you can start feeling a difference in as little as 7 days. Stay with me until the end, because after the exercises, I'm going to give you a technique I call the 3-second stand protocol. It takes no extra time, costs nothing, and it may be the single most effective thing you do all week for your safety.
Before we start moving, I want to spend just 2 minutes explaining what is actually happening inside your body when that dizziness hits.
Because once you understand the mechanism, every single exercise will make perfect sense. The condition has a medical name: orthostatic hypotension. Ortho means upright. Static means standing. It is a temporary drop in blood pressure that happens in the first few seconds after you rise from sitting or lying down. Here is the biology. Your body holds roughly 5 liters of blood. When you are sitting, a significant portion of that blood pools in the large veins of your legs and abdomen. The moment you stand up, gravity pulls even more blood downward. If nothing happens quickly, your brain, which is now suddenly higher up, receives less blood for a few critical seconds. That reduced blood flow to the brain is what creates the dizziness, the momentary graying of vision, that slightly floaty feeling. In a well-functioning vascular system, the body detects the drop instantly. Special pressure sensors in your neck and chest called baroreceptors send an emergency signal. Your heart beats faster, your blood vessels tighten, blood rushes upward. The whole process takes about 1 to 2 seconds, and you never even notice it. But here is what changes with age. Those baroreceptors become less sensitive. The blood vessels in your legs become less responsive. The reflex slows from 1 second to 3, 4, even 5 seconds. And during that gap, that window where the reflex is still catching up, you feel dizzy. Now here is the important part. This is not structural damage. The vessels are still there, the nerves are still there, the reflex mechanism is intact. It just needs to be practiced, stimulated, reminded how fast it used to work. That is exactly what these 5 exercises do. Each one targets a different part of the reflex chain. Together, they rebuild the system from the ground up. Let's begin. Exercise number 5. We are starting seated. You can do this in any chair. Sit up straight, both feet flat on the floor. Now simply flex both feet, pull your toes toward you, hold for 2 seconds, then point your toes away. Hold for 2 seconds. That is 1 repetition. This is called an ankle pump, and it is the foundation of everything we are building today. Here is why it matters more than it looks. Your calf muscles are often called the second heart of the body, and that is not a metaphor, it is anatomy. The deep veins inside your calf muscles carry a large volume of blood back up toward your heart, but they can only do that when those muscles are actively contracting. When you pump your ankles, you are manually squeezing those veins. You are forcing blood upward. You are activating the very pathway that needs to respond when you stand up. Think of it as priming a pump. You are teaching those vessels to move blood on command. Do 20 repetitions, slow and deliberate. Feel the contraction in your calf with each pump. Do this twice a day, once in the morning before you get up and once in the evening before bed. Those 2 sessions cost you less than 2 minutes total, and they are rebuilding your vascular reflex while you sit. Exercise number 4, still seated. This one activates the larger muscles of your thighs, and that changes everything. Sit tall in your chair. Now simply lift your right knee up toward your chest, not all the way, just a comfortable rise, and then lower it back down. Then the left knee. Right, left, right, left. You are marching in place while seated. Now, why does marching matter for dizziness? Because the large muscles in your thighs, the quadriceps and hamstrings, surround some of the biggest veins in your entire body. The femoral vein running up the inside of your thigh carries an enormous volume of blood. When your thigh muscles contract and release rhythmically, they act as a powerful compression pump for that vein, pushing blood upward with every step. This is the same reason that walking is so good for circulation. You do not need to walk a mile. 30 seconds of seated marching produces a measurable increase in venous return, the rate at which blood flows back to your heart. And a heart that is already receiving good blood flow responds much faster when you suddenly stand up. Do 30 seconds, rest, then repeat once more. You can do this at your desk, at the kitchen table, anywhere you sit for more than a few minutes. Now, if you have been doing these movements along with me, I want to ask you something. Can you already feel a slight warmth in your legs? A gentle sense that the circulation is waking up? That is not your imagination. That is blood moving through pathways that may have been sluggish for months or years. Get progressively more powerful. And exercise number 1, the one I have been building toward, is the one that most directly trains the reflex itself. Not just the circulation, the reflex. Stay with me. Exercise number 3. We are standing now. Hold the back of a sturdy chair or lightly touch a wall for balance. Stand with your feet hip-width apart. Now slowly rise up onto your toes. Lift your heels as high as you comfortably can. Hold for 2 seconds at the top, then lower slowly back down. That is 1 repetition. Do 10 repetitions. The key is the speed. Rise in 2 seconds, hold for 2, lower in 3. The slow lowering is where most of the benefit lives. Here is what makes calf raises so powerful for dizziness specifically. Every time you rise onto your toes, you dramatically increase the pressure inside the calf muscle. This squeezes the deep veins like wringing out a wet cloth, forcing a large bolus of blood upward toward the heart in a single burst. When you lower back down, the veins refill. Rise again, and you pump that blood upward again. You are doing exactly what your body needs to do in the 2 seconds after you stand up. But you are doing it in a controlled, safe, standing position. You are drilling the movement pattern into your vascular system. Over days and weeks, the vessels learn to respond faster because they have been reminded what fast response feels like. If calf raises feel unsteady, do them near a corner wall where you can touch 2 surfaces at once. Or place a thick book under your heels to reduce the range of motion. Even a partial rise of 2 inches is beneficial. Exercise number 2. This one might surprise you. We are going to do a wall sit, but not the kind that makes your legs burn. We are going to use a very specific, very shallow version. Stand with your back flat against the wall, feet about 12 inches away, shoulder width apart. Now slide your back slowly down the wall until your knees are bent to about 30 degrees. Not 90 degrees, not a full squat position, just a gentle, shallow bend. Your thighs will be angled slightly forward, as if you are just beginning to sit down. Hold this position for 10 seconds. Then slide back up to standing. Rest for 15 seconds. Then do it again. Do 5 holds total. Now here is why this specific angle is important for dizziness. At 30 degrees of knee bend, you are putting a sustained, moderate load on all the large muscles of your thighs simultaneously. Unlike the rhythmic pumping of marching or calf raises, this sustained contraction creates a prolonged compression of the femoral veins, a steady, powerful squeeze rather than a pulse. This trains a different quality in your vascular system, sustained tone. The ability to stay contracted for several seconds, which is precisely what your leg vessels need to do in the moments after you stand up. There is also a secondary benefit. The wall sit position is almost identical to the transition from sitting to standing. By holding this position repeatedly, you are rehearsing the muscular engagement of rising. Your nervous system begins to prepare those muscles to activate faster, because it has practiced being in that position. This is neuromuscular training disguised as a simple exercise. And now we arrive at exercise number 1, the one I have been building toward, the one that most directly addresses the reflex itself. I call it the slow stand drill, and it is exactly what it sounds like, but with one critical modification that makes it completely different from simply standing up. Here is how you do it. Sit in your chair, feet flat on the floor. Now stand up, but take a full 8 seconds to do it. Count slowly as you rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Full standing. Then sit back down normally. Rest for 30 seconds. Then do it again. Do 8 repetitions. Now let me explain what is happening physiologically during those 8 seconds, because this is the entire point. When you stand up slowly over 8 seconds instead of 1 second, you are giving your baroreceptors, those pressure sensors in your neck and chest, more time to detect the gradual change in blood pressure. You are giving your blood vessels more time to receive the signal and respond. You are essentially doing a rehearsal of the reflex in slow motion. Over 10 to 14 days of practicing this, something remarkable happens. The baroreceptors become more sensitized. They start detecting smaller changes in pressure more quickly. The vessels start responding faster. What was a 3 or 4 second lag begins to shorten to 2 seconds, to 1.5. You are not just exercising your muscles. You are recalibrating a neurological reflex. There is one important detail. During the slow stand, keep your weight forward as you rise. Do not push straight up. Shift your weight to the front of your feet first, then rise. This engages the calf and thigh muscles from the very beginning of the movement, activating that venous pump even as you start to stand. 8 slow stands twice a day. That is the most important thing I will ask you to do. You have completed all 5 exercises, but I promised you one more thing, and this one requires no exercise at all. It is a technique you will use every single time you stand up starting today. I call it the 3-second stand protocol. Here is how it works. Every time you are about to stand up from a seated position, from your chair, from the toilet, from your car, from your bed, you do 3 things before your body fully rises. Step 1. Before you move, squeeze your calf muscles 5 times while still seated. Quick pumps, just like the ankle pumps from exercise 5. 5 pumps, 3 seconds. You are preloading the venous return. You are sending a surge of blood upward before gravity has a chance to pull it down. Step 2. Shift your weight forward to the front of your feet, almost like you are about to stand on your tiptoes, before you actually push up. This pre-engages the calf and thigh muscles. The venous pump is already active before the gravitational challenge begins. Step 3. Once you are standing, pause for 3 full seconds before you walk. Stay still. Keep your eyes focused on a fixed point. Let the reflex complete. Most dizziness happens in the first 2 seconds of walking. By pausing, you give your system the time it needs. Calf pumps, weight forward, pause. 3 seconds, 3 steps, every single time you stand up. Most people who try this tell me that within the first or second day, the dizziness is already reduced. Not because they have strengthened anything yet, but because they have simply given their existing reflex the time it needs to work. The exercises rebuild the reflex. The protocol gives it permission to function. Together, they are the complete solution. Here is your complete daily plan. Every morning, before you stand up from bed, 20 ankle pumps, then use the 3-second stand protocol to rise. Twice a day, in any chair, 20 ankle pumps, 30 seconds of seated marching. Once a day, standing near your chair, 10 calf raises, 5 wall sit holds of 10 seconds, 8 slow stands. The entire standing routine takes less than 8 minutes. The seated exercises you can do while watching television. The protocol takes no extra time at all. It simply replaces the way you were already standing up. 7 days. That is all I am asking for. 1 week of consistent practice. And here is my challenge to you. At the end of those 7 days, stand up and notice what happens. Notice whether you reach for the armrest out of habit or out of need. Notice whether you are bracing yourself or whether you have stopped bracing because you simply no longer need to. Come back and tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Your experience matters, not just to me, but to every person who watches this video and is still deciding whether to try. If this helped you today, please share it with someone you love who grabs onto things before they stand up. They deserve to know that there is a reason and there is a solution. Take care of your body. It is listening. I will see you in the next one.